Alright, let's go ahead and get right on into it. Before we get started though, I do want to mention that this WeTransfer link is expired, or the transfer's been deleted, so I am not able to download the raw video here, so we will be using the YouTube stream as a substitute. Alright, getting on into it, this is round 3 of Rogue versus Hyper. They are going to be defending the basement site. This is the second attempt. The previous round was a failure and it was a Rogue victory. So let's go ahead and take a look at why that might be. First off though, we're going to go over the operators. So we have honestly pretty standard operators, nothing too crazy. I believe K2 is just picking Vigil mainly for the gun and for the gadget, more importantly. However, the one thing I do want to go over is actually this Maverick pick on Slash. I do not agree with this one bit. I do not believe that Maverick really provides a whole lot of value to Rogue in this situation. I believe that they need a Thermite instead of the Maverick, and then I think they need to let the Hibana get the hatches instead of the Maverick. We saw previously in round 2 that the Maverick attempted to open up a hatch for the basement site with, obviously, well, the Maverick, and he died to it. The smoke came up right beneath him and shotgunned him. So what they need to be doing is that they absolutely need to be bringing a Thermite in this case. They need to be letting the Hibana be getting the hatches, and then they need to be letting the Thermite open up a nice big wall, hole in the wall, so that way they can get in and go for a plant. We're not going to see that happen. We're going to go ahead and divulge further. No 6 picks here. We're just going to go ahead and get right on into it. For the most part, the Hyper setup here is actually pretty standard stuff. I mean, nothing too crazy. There's a few things I do want to go over, though. And that would, of course, be there's this Evil Eye placement, and then there's actually smoke shotgunning here. So the first thing is first is that this Evil Eye is placed up very, very high. This makes it very easy for someone like a Zofia to actually be able to destroy it. So I'd like to see that actually much lower, like right here is a fantastic spot for it, because you can see under the car. Makes it really, really difficult for someone like a Zofia to be able to clear it, or for sometimes the attackers don't even realize that it's there because it's in just a hidden spot. However, if we're going to put it up super, super high, that's just a big shining beacon saying, hey, clear me, clear me. But that is just some minor stuff. What we also are seeing is we're also seeing the smoke is actually opening up some holes inside of Piano, and then later he's going to open up some more holes right here. And I don't really agree with that too much. I think it's a good reactive play. However, having them straight off the start definitely hurt them in the previous round, as the Glass on Eclipse was able to actually pick off the Bandit from there. Now, there is a little bit of a difference here, so let's go ahead and take a look at this. Let's see what they're doing. So what they're actually doing is that they are creating holes above the default plant spots here. So that way, if a roamer decides that they can get up, they can actually retake control of Piano, either coming from the back, retaking from down yellow stairs, or using the CEO hatch that's up here, and retaking Piano, and using these holes to stop any plant. It's a great idea on paper. However, we have to be careful not to die to that. We saw the Bandit die to it last time. So this time, this second round that they're trying to defend basement, they are going to learn from that, but they're still going to have those holes. Just a quick note, keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and start on into it. So just while the round's playing out, I just want to kind of go over a little bit of what happened in the previous round to kind of set the stage. So the previous round, we did see Rogue do an admin across roam clear. We saw K2 on this Vigil. He actually got a pick off onto Shuttle very, very early in the round. This is round 2, just to remind you. And that pick was absolutely huge. Now, unfortunately for K2, he decided to go and rotate up through CEO, go through long desk, and he got picked off by Easily, who was repelling on those CEO windows. We're not going to see that this time. This is actually going to be a stark contrast to what happened the previous round. To start things off, Rogue is going to begin by just trying to get some drones out. However, you're going to notice very quickly that there is going to be a very, very hard stall. And the big reason for this is honestly, a brilliant adaptation here by Hyper. The previous round, we saw K2 basically go for a spawn kill, and then he decided to go and roam up through the top floor. However, this round, he's using Vigil's gadget to his fullest extent. He's just saying, hey, you don't know where I'm at because I'm on my Vigil. You can't see me. As you'll see here, Super isn't really quite sure where to look, and then boom, K2 is just turning it on and off, on and off. They're just not sure where to find him. This is honestly just such a great spot because he's got a great way to escape. Now, the problem that happened again previously is that he got a pick from the Visa windows. I believe it was probably this one. And then he ran up these stairs and then went to go and just run around, basically. However, he learned from his mistake from the previous round and is now staying in a much more confined area, a much safer area as well. And he's just sitting on his vigil mark. That vigil mark has a range nearly up to 12 to 15 meters that the drones can see. So these drones, they're going through admin and they're like, okay, we know there might be a vigil here. He might also be on first floor, and actually he could be in basement as well. But that's not as likely. So Rogue knows and is very, very worried about this vigil. They're not sure where he's at, and this slows him down tremendously. We're going to see K2 is also backed up by his teammate. This is really, really good coordination and teamwork here, because even if K2 does decide to get aggressive here and go for a pick, guess what? Nikki is right there behind him to get a trade. Slash is just super scared because they didn't have full drone coverage, and guess what? The second that the drones fully figure out what's actually happening, K2 and the Jaeger Nick, they just get back downstairs. It's absolutely brilliant. And now if you look at it, guess what? That's over a minute wasted just right there, just by sitting just in a corner on your vigil markers. And chances are they probably killed a couple of drones as well. So instantly, Rogue is off to a bad start here. One thing I would like to have seen them do to improve this attack a little bit is I think that they could have stood to actually open up some of these Visa windows. Excuse me, let's get that in purple for you. So they actually, if they had gotten those these windows open, I think that they would have probably left earlier. Now, of course, this is all hindsight. Rogue did not know that they were there. However, from round 2, we actually did notice that K2 was in this area previously. So if you're Rogue, you need to be thinking, okay, so he's definitely around somewhere. He's somewhere in the either in admin or he's sitting in first floor. So they need to start opening up some of these angles to be able to clear him out. And if you notice, these windows are not actually open. They just left them open, and this is a very, very common window to have someone posted up there. If you could just send someone who's not on a drone, such as Eclipse, he can just sit on that window, he can cut off rotations, and really, really try and start pressuring this roam. But honestly, great job from K2 and Hyper Esports for being able to make that adaptation. However, it's still 5-5. This is still anyone's round right now. Rogue has done and played lots and lots of Consulate. Now, quick note though, at this point, we do have Shuttle and Super, which are recent additions to the roster, so there is going to be a little bit of uncoordination here, and it's to be expected. However, there's a couple of really, really key things and details that I think are missing. Number one that we just saw was this Slash getting picked. Now, as the Maverick, there's absolutely no reason that you need to be in a position to be picked by someone on Spiral Stairs, and you'll see in a moment here that they also get another death at the hands of Hyper Esports. So, as a Maverick, there's no reason you need to be here unless you want to put a Claymore up to try and, hold off the stairs, but Slash was not trying to do that because, of course, he had flashbangs. So I think that is Slash just getting a little bit too cocky there and overextending, and he loses his life for it. So we'll continue on a little bit here, and again, Rogue at this point now has control of the top floor. They've realized what has happened. They knew that K2 was inside of Visa at one point. They know that he rotated down, but now suddenly they have a bandit inside of Piano, and he's going to go ahead and get a C4 off on easily. Now he is basically uncontested. There's no trades coming out from Rogue. Shuttle is inside of Circle Desk, and guess what? This is going to go ahead and allow the roam game to really kind of start shining here from Hyper Esports, and I think that's what their plan. This is what their plan was from all along. So now that they were basically given 2 free picks, so we had Slash and then easily was over on Yellow Stairs. So now that we have those 2 picks out of the way, it is now a 5. Let's actually draw a 5 here. A 5 on 3, right? So a 5 on 3, and that means that there is now 2 angles they cannot watch. A quick refresher for those that might not know is that a quick roam clear inside of Consulate should be, usually you can decide to go for admin and push across the top floor this way, as well as supported by someone coming in from CEO. This creates a pinch on the top floor. If anyone tries to stay inside the green area, they're going to get demolished here. That is what I would have liked to have seen from Rogue. The previous round, in round 2, we actually did see this because we did have that guy over in CEO get the pick. Round 3, we did not see that this time. There was a swap up in operators. They were probably expecting a different site potentially. However, they completely changed their game plan. They kept the admin clear. However, that great play there from K2 and Hyper Esports really slowed them down quite a bit. So let's just assume that Rogue just does it perfectly, and usually you will. They are generally a very competent team, and they'll do this. They'll clear out the top floor. So once they get the top floor cleared out, then they're going to go, okay, it's time to clear out the bottom, or the first floor, excuse me. So let's just pretend that there might be a roamer. Actually, in this case, there was a roamer inside of the green highlighted area. This is the most common area where they're going to roam. So once they have the top floor, honestly, you can abuse the hatches. There's a hatch coming down from projector. You can use any of these stairways here to get down, and then as well as you have 3 windows, as well as the front door to provide your main push into to be able to clear out anyone that's sitting inside a piano, and actually more commonly inside a bathroom. We did not see Rogue do that. We saw Slash decide to run up, and he came in from Visa and ended up just getting picked by the Maestro on Spiral Stairs. Great job from Strange on the Maestro, by the way, to be able to pick up that kill. Interesting, just playing aggressive. That's just how Hyper is known to play. So good job from there, but I think Slash was just kind of caught out of position with his pants down. So let's just assume that Rogue is cleared all top floor and first floor. What would normally happen if they have a full 5-man advantage is that they would actually post someone up here on Visa. I've played Rogue many, many times, including in OGA and in scrims, and I know for a fact that they love sitting someone up here on the Visa stairs. They'll set usually a drone just kind of watching for anyone coming up. They might even have let's say, for example, a Claymore here. Really, they do not want anyone trying to flank up these Visa stairs. As well as, they also have a solution for these stairs as well, the lower spiral stairs flank. They'll usually set someone inside of circle, and they'll just be sitting, usually just on a drone. They'll just be sitting there waiting for someone to come up. The second they see someone, boom, he's already got the angle for it, and it instantly locks down the entire map. And what that is effectively doing is that locks all of the defenders down to this basement area. Now, I have a couple of theories as to why. I'll go over that a little bit later as to why we didn't see that. Number one, of course, was Shuttle and Super being basically brand new to this roster at this point. So even though they know what they should be doing, they maybe just didn't quite execute it properly. I'm not going to fault Rogue too much for that. If it was something at like a LAN finals, then that might be a much different story. However, I'd like to really more focus on Hyper's play here. So now that they don't have those 2 angles that I talked about before, one inside of circle, watching for the other flank up, and then the other one for Visa. So now you've got a big gap in this attack. You've got massive, massive gaps. What this is allowing K2 and Hyper Esports to do is now flank up, because there's absolutely nothing preventing this. And if you remember, K2 on that Vigil actually did a great job killing tons of drones from this position as well. So chances are Rogue didn't even have the drones to set up even a flank so that the dead people can watch for that. They didn't even know that they were going upstairs. It's really, really critical to know how much that K2 playing in this area as Vigil and surviving actually impacted the round in the long term. Is really, really impressive stuff, actually. So now that we're not seeing these 2 common spots played, that is going to allow Hyper Esports to go and flank up, and is going to do absolutely critical damage. Now, while I'm here, actually, this is actually Hyper's plan all along, is to be able to flank up and remember those holes inside a piano. That's exactly what those are there for later in the round. So that way, if there's a planter anywhere in the yellow areas, actually, and this actually extends all the way out here, maybe even into Sandwich. If there's a planter anywhere in here, he can be killed from above. That forces Rogue, who is already on a man disadvantage, but down by 2 men, they're forced to leave someone upstairs into piano, which significantly weakens their already weak push to begin with. So you can kind of start to see how this play by Hyper actually starts to spiral into a cascading effect, and I really do like how they ended up playing it out. So we'll let the round go out. Eventually, Shuttle does end up clearing out the Bandit here. We will see Eclipse. He is going to go ahead and get reset. He's on 1 HP, so he'll get revived. And then, honestly, Rogue, this is still technically a winnable situation here. They still have the glides they can use. However, the utility from the defense is just absolutely critical. And as I mentioned before, K2 is going to use the fact that Rogue is down by 2 men to be able to slip upstairs and to actually be able to flank them. And you notice he's right there. Yeah, here we go. He's right here, and he's ready to cause some really big damage. He's just waiting for the right timing to be able to get back into piano. All he has to do is just try and waste time. Shuttle is super worried. He's super paranoid that he's going to come down at any time. And you actually notice Eclipse is also super worried here. He's just sitting outside of bench windows. So right now, they're kind of locking this out. And because of the fact that we didn't see Rogue take full control, and they did not go through the second floor and then the first floor roam clear, they can't even get the wall open because they can't get the batteries off. And that's the one reason that you can argue that you can bring a Maverick for in this case. However, I would have liked, again, a Thermite, because if you go through the second floor room clear, if you go through the first floor room clear, and you do all that efficiently and quickly, you have control of piano, you can clear the batteries off, you can open up the Thermite wall, or the reinforced wall with the Thermite, and then guess what? You're then left with a Habana who can now open your hatches, which means you're not going to be exposed to be shotgun through the hatch while you're trying to Maverick it, as happened in round number 2. So I'm surprised that Rogue did not learn from their mistake there, and they decided to continue bringing Maverick. Honestly, Consort is not really a Maverick type of map, in my opinion. I think that could definitely have been improved. So we're just going to see this round close out here. K2 is going to go for a jump out, and then it's going to be a failed push from the backside. So as a result of Rogue not doing their normal roam clear, we as well as combined with the fact that Hyper had a really great little setup there at the top, or in the middle of Visa stairs, excuse me, I think it's really, really critical that they actually got this round here. And unfortunately, they ended up losing the map, but they did a great job, especially on this round, making that adaptation from round number 2, and I am super impressed. Now, one thing from Rogue is that, again, Hyper is coming in as a severe underdog. Now, what this might mean is that Rogue is potentially saving strats for later. This is also coming up, this is in the middle of Pro League as well, going into, the Pro League finals later in the months following. So, Rogue does not really want to show too many strats here. Now, if they show, their bread and butter on a team like Hyper, in this case, it can be easily counter-shotted by another team. So chances are what they're trying to do is they're just trying to play a little bit more of a loose style here. Honestly, that's probably why they're bringing the Maverick, and then Slash is just kind of running in. You're not going to see him do that in a Pro League game. He's just trying to play loose. He's just trying to have a little bit of fun there, and it ended up working for the rest of the map, and then as well as for map number 2. So really, really great job there from Hyper Esports, and I'm honestly glad that you guys had us analyze this round. I had a lot of fun going through it. Thank you, and have a good one.